Sir, may I come in? Good evening, sir. Good evening, ma'am. Good evening, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Archita Mittal.
Yes, sir.
Archita, please introduce yourself and your hobbies. Speak a bit about yourself.
Yes, sir. Sir, my name is Archita Mittal. I was born in Hisar, but I'm currently staying in Faridabad. I did my graduation from Sri Ram College of Commerce, New Delhi, post which I pursued my postgraduate diploma in management from IIM Lucknow. I worked for a year with Deloitte as a consultant in the electric vehicle sector, post which I started preparing for UPSC. In the civil services examination of 2021, I was selected and I was allocated Indian Police Service. Apart from academics,
Which cadre?
The cadre has not been allocated,
Okay.
sir. Apart from academics, my hobbies are to play badminton. I've been playing badminton since my class 3 and I've also played at various state tournaments.
You got selected for IPS in 2020, you said.
Last year, sir.
Last year.
Yes.
And then you took the examination this year. Did you take exam last year also, 21?
So I was selected in 2021. So that time it was my second attempt. This year it's my third attempt.
What happened in the second attempt?
So I was selected, sir. In the second attempt,
Oh,
I
you
got
selected for the IPS.
Yes,
okay,
sir.
all right. Have you gone to Missouri Academy? Have you done your training?
So I have not gone to Missouri because I was giving my third attempt. I had gone to National Police Academy. I've joined the academy, but I've taken an extraordinary leave for this year.
Okay, all right. Archita, tell me something. You're born in Hisar and now you're living in Faridabad.
Yes, sir.
Haryana is a very peculiar state in the sense that the women are doing very, very well in the sports. Do you
Yes, sir.
agree? Many wrestlers from there and also in other sports, I think Kabaddi also they have done very well in the cricket team. There are many women from Haryana. At the same time, there is a very high rate of crime against women.
Yes, sir.
How do you explain this kind of a contradiction?
So we have been seeing increased participation in sports with respect to women. Initially, it began from the example of Fogart sisters who sparked an inspiration in the state. We also see that there are sports infrastructure being created at the local districts. These are the initiatives that are being taken. But sir, however, at the same time, the crime is increasing because firstly, because of the patriarchal society that we have, due to various historical reasons in Haryana, because Haryana was primarily the place where the three wars of Panipat was fought, and there has always been aggression in the state. So I think that's why the crime is still there. Apart from that, the police to population ratio is not very high as it should be, and various deterrence measures such as installation of CCTV cameras.
If you say that there is still a very strong patriarchal system in Haryana, would that system allow women to progress in the field of sport so much?
So,
If you were to hold
Yes,
that
sir.
system responsible.
So the few examples that we are seeing in different sectors where women are coming up in sports, I think there's a lot more potential that can come up because of patriarchy, because of the mindset of the people. The potential of Haryana, I think, is still has not come up as it should have been. But sir, the various, for example, we have the Fogart sisters, Sakshi Malik, and even Manu Bhakar from shooting. I think these people who are coming up, they are bringing a change in the mindsets of people. So
Where is what's her name? Meenakshi, sorry, the last Miss Universe. What's her name?
So I'm not aware.
Manushi
Manushi
Chillar.
Chillar,
Where is she from?
I'm not aware of that, sir.
She's from Haryana.
Okay, sir.
You didn't know that she's from Haryana.
No, sir, I was not knowing.
You don't have any interest in these kind of contests.
No, sir, it's not about interest, sir. I didn't know that. I know that she was the Miss Universe last year, last class. But
See,
I don't know.
my point is that if you have women in sports, if you have women who are actually taking part in this beauty contest, so things should be very, very different. And therefore, I find it very, very difficult to believe that the patriarchal system will be at the base of crime against women. That's the reason. Anyway, let's hold the thought over there. What is the rate of unemployment amongst youth in Haryana?
So I'm not aware of the exact number, but with respect to the national average, Haryana's unemployment rate among youth is higher.
It's very high, 32%.
Okay.
Now, 32% unemployment rate amongst. What do you think is a reason? Now, Haryana is also developed very well industrially.
Right.
You know, Gurugram, Faridabad, the way they are, Sonipat, etc. With this rate of high development in the state, why should the unemployment rate be so high?
So firstly, the economy of Haryana is driven by service sector, which is not very labor intensive. Secondly, with respect to the population of Haryana is primarily engaged in agriculture. The problem is that it is underemployed in agriculture, because for few seasons there is work, but for the other part of the year there is no work. So I think these are the two reasons I can think of.
Do you think there is any correlation between the underemployment or unemployment amongst youth and the crime rate against women?
So, there
Anyway,
might be
think
a
about it.
correlation. Yes.
All right. Have you heard of the term wolf warrior diplomacy?
Wolf warrior. I can't recollect it right now, sir.
You can't recollect it.
No, sir.
You have taken part in a mock youth parliament.
Yes, sir.
What is the subject that you dealt with? What did you speak on?
I was a part of the team who organized the mock youth parliament, and in that event, sir, we chose the topic of GST because at that time, between 2014 to 17, that was one of the prime subjects that were being talked about. So the parliament was, the discussions in our college parliament were around GST.
So you spoke on GST at that time, or were you actually part of the organizing team?
I was a part of the organizing team, but we had to research upon GST as well.
All right. There are parties who call it Gabbar Singh tax because they think it's basically too high or whatever it is. And do you agree with those who call it Gabbar Singh tax?
So, I'm not aware why they call it Gabbar Singh tax, honestly, but I think it is one of the most fundamental and the most structural changes that have taken place. It has led to reduction in the overall tax that was levied on the consumers, helped in ease of doing business in our country as well, and so I think it's a good initiative.
Has it actually eased the doing of business in the country?
So as compared to earlier times, yes, sir, because earlier we had two regimes. Excise duty was levied by the center, VAT was levied by the states, and even between different states, there were different tax rates. Now we have one tax in one country, so I think that's fine. It's
called Gabbar Singh tax by some because the whole tax collection is now done by the center. And the portion or the share of the states depends on the mercy of the center. So Gabbar Singh, like a robber, or but do you think it's a reasonable assumption that because it is collected by the center, the states are not able to get their share? So
I think the states are able to get their share. Firstly, because under the GST regime, it is the states' GST is collected by the states.
No, it's collected by the center.
Even
that's
states.
A problem. The entire tax is collected by the center. They are on different books, different allocations, but it depends upon the center to give the state's portion to the state. So, but at the same time, we also have a GST council, which has representation of the center and the states. The share that has to be devolved to the states is decided by the GST council and not by the center itself. And even if there are delays, then I think GST council is a platform where the states can raise their issues. There have been complaints from the states, and we will leave it there for the time being.
Okay, Archita. Leveraging data. Okay, which departments do you think have actually benefited from leveraging data?
First, that comes to my mind is the income tax authorities, GST departments. Recently, there was a agreement between the GST department and the airport authorities to share data. I think that is one. With respect to even policing, we have NatGrid, system and as well as CCTNS. These are portals which help to share data across different regimes.
And what is the benefit?
First, the benefit is that through data, with respect to any citizen of the country, a proper profile can be framed. For example, with respect to income tax, through data it is easier to find out the transactions that are done every year, so that there is no tax evasion. It also provides citizen with all the information so that so that he files the return properly. There is greater tax compliance. So I think
so it has led to greater compliance, right?
Yes.
Okay, all right, okay. Data for development, have you heard the term?
Not.
It's a G20 term. There's an agenda. If you haven't heard,
I have not
just
heard.
read about. Okay, all right. We'll move to something else. All right. Can you tell me about the Jan Vishwas bill? You've read up on it?
Jan Vishwas bill.
Huh.
I've heard the bill.
No, because you're in the IPS, that's why I'm asking you.
I've heard about the name, but I've not read about it.
No, decriminalizing minor offences and
Not
compounding
yet.
them. Okay,
Not
all right.
yet.
Never mind.
I'll
Just leave
definitely
it.
read about
Okay,
it.
okay. No, just leave it. Okay, tell me what operation strategy is. You're a management student, no? Yeah.
Operation strategy would mean that strategizing the entire operation chain or the value chain of a company so that the business works very smoothly and there are minimum wastage or losses. So I think this would be
What is strategy? Is it same as vision, same as plan? It's something more to it.
I think vision is a long-term strategy, a company that it wants to achieve in the next 5 or 10 years. But strategy would maybe deal even with the day-to-day functioning of a company. So I think it's
how you go about achieving, right? Okay, where has the term come from? Can you just hazard a guess? Where would the word strategy come from? Initially, where was it used? For what purpose?
I'm not aware of. I'll have to
ring a bell. Army, military, basically strategizing. Okay, never mind. It's okay. That's okay. Okay, you tell me what is the difference between innovation and invention?
Innovation, invention. Ma'am, I'm not aware of the exact difference, but if you may allow, I'd like to take a guess.
Yes, just going by the words.
Invention would mean that creating something entirely new, which was not ever there. For example, invention of a wheel back then.
Fair enough.
Innovation would mean making more changes in the existing product that we have. For example, innovation in the smartphones that we are seeing year after year. So I think.
You know about the innovation graph, if a company does not innovate, what happens to it?
In the present generation, the company would not be able to survive and face the competition that is there.
Yes, because others will innovate.
Right.
Okay. Adapting something from another country to your country, is that innovation?
Innovation.
Getting into a new market with the same product.
That would not, according to me, I don't think it should.
All right, you must read on it. All right, that's what I can. Leaders or managers, who do you need in the civil services?
We need both of them.
Both of them?
Yes.
In the same person?
In the same person, yes.
A mix of both?
Both, yes.
What's one great quality of a leader? Or name couple or 2 or 3 if you want to.
I think the qualities of leader should be that a leader should be able to create a vision in the entire team, should be able to increase the capacity of the team so that they're able to achieve the goal, and at the end also able to add value.
Okay, all right. Okay, thanks Archita. Okay.
Archita, you're from IPS.
Yes, sir.
And it was your choice number one.
Sir?
When you got IPS,
Yes, sir.
it was your first choice then?
So my first choice back then was Indian Administrative Services, as it is now.
And IPS was?
Second.
Second.
Now, what is your first choice?
So my first choice is Indian Administrative Services.
And what is your second choice?
So my second choice would be Indian Police Service only because of technical reasons. Because I'm in the IPS, I cannot fill it again. So I filled in IRS, income tax.
Okay. Now, I somehow get little confused, when I look through your detailed application form. You have a bright academic career. You studied in Sriram College of Commerce, did so well. You went to IIM, you did so well. Worked elsewhere. What is that was, and then you got into police. So what is that you see in IAS? Why you want to come to IAS? What is there in IAS?
So IAS or the civil services would provide.
No, your choice is now IAS.
IAS, yes,
You don't have any other choice. Because you said if you don't get into IAS, you'll continue with police, correct?
Yes, sir.
So you are appearing this with the sole intention of coming into IAS. So what is that you see in IAS that you don't see in IPS? What is that you say in IAS which all these bright records and everything couldn't do? Why you want to come in?
So, firstly, sir, I want to be a part of IAS because I think the domain of working is very wide. It offers you an opportunity to work with respect to education sector, healthcare, climate change, women empowerment. Versus, sir, Indian Police Service, sir, I think the domain would be related to law and order, crime prevention, investigation of crime. I think my interests are more towards working in the sectors which are the domain of IAS. So secondly, so the education that I've gained over the years, so I think they are complementary and they suit exactly for Indian Administrative Services because the motto of IIM Lucknow is Suprabhande Rashtra Samriddhi, that is better management towards a brighter nation. So I think with the qualifications that I have, it will help me to become a better leader, a better manager, and to solve the problems that are occurring in our society at the grassroots level.
Are you aware that under the central staffing scheme, even if you are an IPS officer, you can man education department, women and child welfare department, you can rise to become a joint secretary, additional secretary, even a secretary. So all those things that you said, you could still do it while being in IPS.
So, but in my, as per the knowledge that I have, and the role of IAS and IPS is different because with respect to, for example, policy making, with respect to education or healthcare, I think that would be the prime responsibility of an IAS and not an IPS.
Okay. Do you know the difference between All India Service and Central Service? What is All India Service? What is your Central Service?
So All India services are services which are recruited by the center, but they work in different states over their tenure. For example, we have IAS and IPS. Central services are services which are recruited by the center, but they work under the central government itself.
What is Rakhi Gadi and why it is famous?
Rakhi Gadi is a Harappan civilization site which is located in the Hisar district of Haryana, and it is the largest Harappan civilization site in India. So I think that's why it's famous.
In India?
Rakhi Gadi is in India.
Does it date back beyond Mohenjo-daro Harappa or it is post Mohenjo-daro Harappa? And what's going on out there? You come from Hisar district.
Yes, sir.
Have you been there?
No, so I was actually planning to go there, sir. But when I was going through the website and the information on Google, there was very little information about if there is any museum or anything. So that's why I couldn't go.
Tell us something about this SYL canal issue. And why should Haryana have a say? The water is flowing in Punjab River. So why is the Haryana contesting? What is SYL thing? Just explain us in brief.
So SYL stands for Satluj Yamuna link. It was proposed because earlier Haryana and Punjab were a single state, and post the bifurcation, the water that was flowing in the rivers, it was agreed that it would be divided between both the states back then.
No, Punjab claims that under the riparian principle, the river flows in their state, so they will have it. Haryana said they have a claim, and it seems Haryana has won the case in Supreme Court. Are you aware of it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, how is that Haryana's claim coming up? You are not a riparian state.
So Haryana's claim is because earlier it was a single state, and both the states, the single state was using the river resources of the river.
Read up, because
Okay.
it's not that simple. You are already in IPS, they will expect more from you. This water is under Indus Water Treaty given to India. It is not Punjab's water, it is India's water. So even Ganganagar will have say, Rajasthan will have a say. We have surrendered the western rivers. Anyway, read up the Supreme Court judgment. Okay, you stay in Faridabad, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Every year in October, harvesting season, people die, Jamuna belt. यूपी वालों से लड़ाई करते हो आप लोग, सर तोड़ते हो, क्यों मरते हैं भाई, क्या होता है?
So I'm not.
Heard of UP Haryana Alteration Boundary Act?
No, sir, I've
Dixit
not.
Award?
No, sir, I've not read. I'll definitely read about it.
Sir, one final question, because she's striving for IAS, you have to be very thorough about it. You said you play badminton, correct?
Yes, sir.
Where is the Badminton World Federation Championship going to be held when? Next one, 2023.
So I'm not aware where it will be held.
Who is the badminton women's singles champion?
Not aware.
Thank you.
Can you name 5 rivers that drain Haryana?
Yes, sir.
All right.
So first would be Yamuna.
All right.
Second would be Ghaggar.
Mhm.
Third would be Markande.
Right.
Fourth would be Sahibi.
Mhm.
And not able to recall the fifth one.
Have you heard of a barrage? A very famous barrage is made on one of the rivers. Which barrage is that?
So I can recall of Wazirabad. One is Okhla.
No. Haryana. I'm talking of Haryana. Okhla is not Haryana. Wazirabad is not Haryana.
Right, sir.
Hmm.
So I can't recall of any. I can recall of Markande, but there's a dam
No,
on
no,
Markande,
no.
but I don't know.
Hathni Kund barrage. Have you heard of it?
No, sir, I've not. I'll read about it.
Tajewala, before that, there was anyway, you need to look, you are already in the IPS, right?
Right, sir.
But if somebody asks you about Haryana or something, you should know. I'm not asking you which is the Bangad area, because the interviewers may not know what is Bangad, which is Deshwal area. What are the geographical divisions of Haryana? I mean, one would expect you to know that, right?
Right, sir.
Okay, you mentioned about NatGrid and CCTNS and all. Recently, at the DGP's conference, I think the Prime Minister mentioned about a data framework, and besides that, he made a few observations or suggestions, gave few suggestions for the police leaderships to follow. Can you recapitulate any of them? It's as recent as January.
So I've read about the conference, but I'm not able to recollect right now.
Okay. These questions will come to you, being an IPS officer.
Yes, sir.
Do you think AI is of any help to police, and how?
So one of the applications of AI is data analytics. And so I think this is one method. Secondly, in various cities of our country, the cameras are being installed on the roads, and with the help of AI, they are able to detect if there is any person who has a criminal background, or someone, police, if it's looking for someone. So I think this is another application that is being
that
used.
happening? Identification of people, face recognition through AI on the roads in India.
So I have read about the facial recognition systems that are being set up in Gurgaon. About rest of the cities, I'm not aware, but about Gurgaon, I've read.
Okay, where is Jamtara 2? That's close to your residence. Where is that?
So I'm not aware.
The biggest cybercrime hub
Right.
is nearly 40 kilometers from your place, Faridabad. Are you aware of that? That I call Jamtara 2. It's as bad as that. Mewat.
Okay. I was not.
All right.
Sir.
All right. You should know that. Anyway, thank you. Last,
Yes, sir.
badminton. Asia mixed team event is taking place where?
So Dubai, UAE.
Dubai.
Yeah.
And how has Indian team fared?
So yesterday they cleared the quarterfinals and today is the semi-finals.
How did we turn the tables? Against whom?
So yesterday the match, so I think yesterday or day before yesterday it was against Malaysia. So
Quarter final was with which team?
So I can't recall.
देखो सतही नॉलेज नहीं रखना, ये जो है ना, अगर आपने जाना है पढ़ा है तो यू शुड नो. यार बैडमिंटन स्टेट लेवल पे खेला, मैं यूनिवर्सिटी में क्रिकेट खेलता था, स्टेट के लिए खेलता था. मुझसे पूछो ना क्रिकेट का कोई भी, आज के दिन कहाँ मैच हो रहा है, किसका क्या रिकॉर्ड है. बूढ़ा हो गया मैं. राइट. एनीवे, आई एम डन. थैंक यू.
What is transformational leadership?
Transformational leadership refers to a style of leadership wherein the leader tries to inculcate the vision that he has among all the people, tries to change the people, I think, in a positive way. Treating them.
How is it similar or dissimilar to charismatic leadership?
I don't. I think a person there's not a very difference between both the styles of leadership because for transformational leadership, a person needs to have certain sets of charisma.
Okay.
So I think that.
Authentic leadership. Have you studied that? Authenticity these days is a topic in leadership. That.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I'll read about it.
Okay. Lucknow is known as hell, right?
Yes, sir.
Why is that?
So it's probably because there's a lot of academic pressure on students. There are a number of assignments that have to be submitted and students have to stay up very late nights and get up very early morning. So for the first day, it's a very difficult life for students.
Okay, on that one, let's stop. Right?
When is your interview scheduled?
So the date hasn't come yet.
It's in April. One or two observations I found. When I began with you, you had more energy and you were able to at least react to the questions, even if not fully, than in the end. In the end, you seem to be basically saying to yourself, when is it going to be over? No, honestly, I mean, this is the impression we got from the way you were talking. It was not the energy level, but because in response to most of the questions, even where you should have information, you were saying, I don't know. Now that happens only either you are tired and your mind is not functioning, or you do not actually know the answer, you have not done it. Now looking at you and considering that you live in Haryana, I find it rather difficult to believe that even the simplest things you would not know. I can only ascribe it to the fact that your mind is finally given up on you and told you that I won't take it anymore. Now, what is the correct situation?
So some of the questions that were asked about Haryana, I actually didn't know, and I think these are some of the things that I definitely read about.
All right. For example, one or two things. Why IAS? When you want to explain the choice of service that you want to go to, and it's reasonable to assume that if you have been selected for IPS, your first preference is IAS, that you will try for it. Now, why should anybody question why you want to join the IAS? Tell me. I mean, it's your choice. UPSC has given you that choice, and I'm exercising my choice. And I do think that IAS is a good service for me to join. I do it. Please don't ever explain anything beyond that. If you come to say that ideal, sub, field work and everything, there will be more questions. Do not encourage more conversation on this, because then you will land in problems. simple, straightforward, that I'm exercising my choice. Crime rate in Haryana, you need to know better about this thing. Don't defend. You seem to be basically saying that what is happening is because of the old system. It cannot be that, because Haryana has changed so much. It's a very different. The girls are really becoming more outgoing. They're changing their outlook. It's very different Haryana now. It's basically because of the underemployment or unemployment, those things. So pick up those areas from that of your interest. Each sheet one issue, current issues, budget. It's very important. Industrial development in Haryana, civilizational park, Kurukshetra. I mean, they talk a lot about Mahabharata, etc. They will all come to you.
Right, sir.
Each sheet one issue, and keep on writing on that paper whatever you learn from the newspapers, from a book. Keep introducing that. Within 3 or 4 weeks, you will have 1.5 paragraph full of facts.
Right, sir.
Read that. Organize it properly to make it a comprehensible reading, reasonable reading. And on that, whenever you come with a new information, add it. Within a month, you will have such a good body of knowledge. And also writing helps.
Right, sir.
Writing will actually make your mind grasp those things more. So do that, and then take another mock interview after maybe 3 to 3 weeks. But not keep doing it like
Right, sir.
that won't work. All right. You are a good candidate, you should work, but at the moment, at least I found
Yes, sir.
that you're saying, I don't know, was a bit distracting.
Right, sir.
Okay, all the best to you.
Thank
Okay,
you.
Archita, I think, so I'll continue.
Should I?
Please take them.
But Sunday's copy doesn't carry economic.
Mint
Yeah.
Law on Saturday
Take a
is more like a society paper.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Archita, I'll quickly give my thing. See, you are definitely a very bright person. Your academic background also shows it, right? And you have decent grooming, being the daughter of a civil servant and a very bright civil servant at that. Okay, I mistook you for someone else, but your father was my additional commissioner in Gurgaon. Okay, so he's himself a very sincere person. And so you'll do well. Just listen. You'll get a recording of this. Go by that, and just kind of try to think of the range of questions that can be. We couldn't have asked everything, right? So the budget and budget related, the banking, changes that have been suggested, disinvestment, revenue receipts, etc. Everything he will be able to also tell you. That can
Yes.
guide you like no one else can. Okay, he's
Yes, ma'am.
very bright. Okay, so I would say you can do it. You have it in you to do it. Yeah,
Yes, ma'am.
really wish you all the best. And just also about these rare earths, because you worked in the EV sector. You said na EV.
Yes, ma'am.
So lithium अभी discover हुआ है
right,
JNK
JNK,
में,
हाँ.
और अपना external affairs minister क्यों अर्जेंटीना गए थे, वो भी in search of lithium गए थे, ठीक है. So
Right,
वो थोड़ा सा rare earths क्या होते हैं, and they can, just because of that little bit about you having
Little
worked
bit,
in
yes.
Deloitte in that particular sector, you can be asked a lot of questions on that, right?
Right.
So stay confident.
Uh,
All the best.
Archita, you are good. But I'm taking the interview with Sir, take it seriously. I asked you so many questions why IAS. As Sir said, a simple answer. IAS was my first choice. I got my second one. I'm taking a chance to get my first one. If I get it, fine. If I don't, I'm happy with my second choice.
They will all understand.
They will all understand. So don't walk into the trap that we are trying to lay for you. Suppose somebody will say that your father is in income tax, why didn't you have income tax? You say it was my third choice, I got my second choice, I joined it. I'm looking for my first rank. I'm entitled to it. So you have to be very focused and clear about what you want. Okay. Now the second thing you don't know about Hathni Kund. I mean, that is something we'll not expect from Haryana child. Hathni Kund is a barrage in Jamuna, where Jamuna river enters from Himachal to Haryana. That is a barrage Every single drop of water from Jamuna is being taken out. The two canals go. Western Jamuna Canal for Haryana, which gives to Delhi, and part of it given to Rajasthan here. Eastern Jamuna Canal to UP, Haryana controls it. Beyond Hatni Kund, there is no river called Jamuna. It's a drain. Later, near Panipat or something, some more water is added for drinking water supply to Haryana. So you must be knowing the irrigation system of Haryana is very important. You should be knowing about that. This Dixit Hour UP Haryana Alteration of Boundary Act, you should be knowing every year so much of life is lost all across things. Some UP people say my land, Haryana, because Jamuna goes on shifting. Because you are in police service, already an act is there. Both of the states, there are issues. You should be knowing what are the issues. SYL is a very burning topic of Haryana. What the Supreme Court says, what the present status, you need not be partial, but you should know the fact. You have to read about that thing. Now, Haryana is famous for certain things. Of course, Rakhi Gadi, I said, it comes from your district. By going there, you may not see much, but at least read up as much how it was discovered, whatever is there. Because that's the same thing, what is being told, it may be carrying more than what mentioned or the Hajj. Okay. Now, Haryana is famous for many things and infamous for many things. Infamous for sex issue at birth. At one point of time, they did really well in Beti Bachao. 100 points went up. So why did it happen? A state which was doing nothing, it did so well. Now it has come down. So we soch Haryana can do it, but Haryana can lose it. Just to break. But I want her to come in.
He will come. He will come
So,
about that part.
what were the strategies done? What are the learnings? Because you are a police officer. Okay. What are the law related to the juveniles? Juveniles in need for the care and protection. Juveniles at conflict of law. Haryana is being urbanized. There are sexual harassment at workplace. What is to be done? There are domestic violence act. There are malnutrition issue. Haryana per capita income wise among the bigger states stands number 1. But fact remains women and children are malnourished. So the social sector issues which is dragging Haryana down, you should work on that. Okay? And prepare yourself. Lastly, you have nothing to lose because you are already in IPS. If you get into IPS, fine, your first choice. If you don't get it, also nothing happens, are not going to fall. So never keep a pressure on you while going to an interview board. Others may have, but you don't have that. Okay. Now, if you are physically tired, mentally tired, appearing so many things, you cannot give your best thing. So give your best thing. Don't keep a pressure. Whatever you know you can do it, do well. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Complacent either. Don't be complacent.
Yes.
All of us wish that you go to your option number 1. We all want, and why we are all here is for that purpose only, to assist you. You know a lot of things. You are one of the better candidates, no doubt about it. You are already selected to the IPS. Only thing is, we all feel that you should know more about your state. The more about, since you are in the IPS, whether you have done the training or not, there would be some expectation that you would know about the issues. Like the DGP's conference, Prime Minister's utterances, and there is a hackathon going on the cyber security issues. So keep track of those things. And amendment of CRPC, IPC, and the Evidence Act that Home Minister recently talked about. Just be aware of it. Your delivery is fine. Everything is fine, and all the best.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.